Hey, you should hide your face, dude. Hello, everyone. How are we doing? Corey, are you feeling ready?
I think I'm a little nervous.
This is for you, for sure. How
It
many
feels like it's my first one for some reason.
times? Right. How many times have you checked the weather?
A million.
It keeps changing. Like, what is your say for today?
Well, I don't know if you follow. I think his name is like Chase Thompson, but he's like the Utah weather guy, and he said that Saturday we're not supposed to get rain till like 5 p.m.
Nice, nice.
So
Okay.
I hope he's right.
Yeah. It really has like looked like it's gonna rain, and then like the next day it's not gonna rain, and then the next day it is gonna rain. But I'm like, but it probably only rained in the afternoon, right? Like, who knows?
He said good cloud coverage, and I was like, perfect.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, let's see how we're doing here. Got a few. Welcome everyone. Um, what time is it? Okay, it's 7 o'clock. Let's get going. Um, hopefully, can you guys let me make it so that I can see the chat? We got some people on here. I hope it doesn't rain, right? Um, the last rate, like earlier this year, we did a race. I did a race in Colorado and it poured the whole time. And I was not planning on it pouring the whole time. So I didn't even have my freaking hat on. So running in the rain for us in Southern Utah is usually kind of fun. But type in the chat where you guys are from. I want to see if we're all locals in St. George or what. Tell me where you're at. Tell me where you're at. Las Vegas, St. George, St. George. Turn the volume down. Washington, St. George. Good, good. Awesome. So it looks like we're mostly from here, so that's good. You guys are all prepared for the weather that we got. Okay. Next question, while other people are hopping on, we'll give everybody a little chance to get on here. Is this your first half or like how many halves have you done? And or have you done Snow Canyon before? Fifth, heck yeah. Oh, I'm dead. Corey, I don't know if I realized this is your fifth. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Third, your first one in Utah? Awesome. This is a very pretty course if you haven't done it before. Fourth Snow Canyon, sixth overall. Nice, nice. Gigi, welcome. Second, heck yes. Second snow canyon and ever. Oh, nice. Nice. You liked it enough to come back the next year. And then somebody here is just doing the 10K. That's still awesome. Snow Canyon is the best race ever. I think that's Aaron. Aaron's under Cognito a little bit. Awesome. Okay, sweet. Okay, we gave everybody a minute. We'll see if that was everybody that hops on. But second one doing Snow Canyon for the first time. Awesome. Um, my name's Dana. For hopefully a lot of you guys, I guess that should have been my other question is how many of you have been following my training plan? I partnered with the city who does who hosts the St. George or who hosts the half and whatever sent out my free training plan for the last 3 months to the people who have been whatever who've been following them. So some of you good have been following that, and hopefully that helped you to get here. And now you're tapered and ready to run, right? Um, but a little bit about me. So I'm an exercise physiologist. I've been helping athletes in Southern Utah and now branched out to like everywhere in the world the last few years. Not world. I'm still just in the US. That's all. But I'm a run coach as well, and I rent out space from the St. George Running Store. So you guys who are local, that's where this is my. Okay, I'm not going to try to show you, but this is my little gym space, and that's my little son. He's here with me. I'm going to talk about him, so he gets to be here with me. Um, he doesn't know that, but and I love what I get to do, and I love helping athletes, especially my like especially as those who are injured. I like to help make sure that you guys are injury free and running smart because I'm so passionate about running. And this is what I'm gonna do this so that everybody can see it a little bit better. Um,
We can see your face right
uh, oh, am I not screen mirroring?
now. No, maybe just see your face.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. Rookie moves. Here we go. How am I not screen mirroring? Are you sure?
Yes. There you go.
What? It doesn't look good on my end. Can you see my screen?
No.
I could before, but now it just says Dana started screen sharing, but it's not showing it yet. It's still black.
Okay. But you could see it before when he told me I couldn't?
Yeah, I could.
Okay, let's see. This is the stuff I hate. Here we go. Do it again. Does it work?
Yes.
Yes.
Yay. Okay. We'll go back to this one. Okay. Still see it?
Yes, but I can hear you echoing.
Turn that off. Turn it off.
Yeah, you need to put the sound off on his.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so this last year, this is Easton that's sitting by me. Last year he was 10 and he ran the half with me. And so this is what we were looking like at the start line. And I'm really hoping you guys have probably been stalking the weather just as much that it's gonna be not quite as cold as it was last year because us in Southern Utah call this stuff right here snow. That's like barely anything if you live somewhere where that actually gets snow. Um, but it was lots of fun. Snow Canyon's always like a freaking awesome race. Um, and they do have, if it is cold, like these silver things, they have the city does an awesome job at like helping you stay warm when you're up there. So they have all the like hot chocolate, give you the little fires, all this stuff. So it still will be wonderful, even no matter the weather. Okay. Um, Now I want to know these are the things we're going to cover. So write in the chat what your goals are, like what you currently have as your goals for the half. A PR of 140. Awesome, awesome. Come on. There's more than just better time. Okay, okay. Surviving. Oh, Gigi, come on. My husband will be pacing me this year. It's probably what that's awesome. Coming back from injury. Oh, good. Okay. So Corey is one of my people. So she knows the A and the B plan that we're going to talk about here. Um, to not bonk at mile 10, that's a good one. And for my knees to not die on mile 12. Okay, so we have some 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 injury related stuff. We're going to dive into the way that when I'm coaching my athletes, I want them to have their goals set. That's going to be a big part of this because I think a lot of people like do the training and then the day of they're kind of like throw out some stuff maybe or maybe like not at all. And so hopefully we're going to help you like dial down to that as well as these other things. Um, so why goals matter? Um, Sometimes it really is just like race day jitters. You guys got race day jitters yet? The taper tantrum, that kind of stuff happening. Um, then so having a goal, a thought, in any aspect of life helps you. Um, uh, Keeping you grounded and helping you have a clearer goals in like fueling and pacing decisions. Because if you plan on doing the half in 3 hours, your fueling and your pacing and stuff like that is going to be way different than if you're trying to do it in an hour 10 or something. So of course you'd probably know that by now. But so most people, like I think all of you guys that put out a number did this. Yeah. So like finishing time. But finishing time is good and it like looks sexy and stuff like that. Everybody has like their idea is looks like for the most part. Um, but like what does that actually mean like on race day? So I like at least having the chat with my athletes about pace-based goals because when you're running and you're like, I want to, let's see, plan A, finish under 3 hours. I want to finish under 3 hours, and you're like running and you're looking at your watch and you're like that's not helping you in the moment. Like, what does finishing under 3 hours mean when I'm at mile 10 or I'm at mile 3? You know what I mean? But when you have pace-based goals, it's a little bit better. So there is a link that actually I'll just probably email it out to you guys. That is a equivalent like calculator, but I'm going to talk about my opinion on that as well. So, but basically there are links so you can like type in if I ran my 10 mile at this, like what is a realistic goal like pace that I would be able to do a half. Um, and it gives you that kind of stuff. But I'm going to talk about that in a minute because we have other options that are a little bit better. But like, so like this. So from finishing time versus pace goals, right? So for all of you guys that put this down, so finishing at, let's see, like a three, um, I didn't even, I only went to 250. Paces. Let's see, finishing at 2:05, somebody said. So that's really going to be like a 9:32 pace, right? So when you're looking at your watch when it's beeping every mile, then that's going to like help you more being like how far off from the 9:32 rather than how far off am I from 2:05, you know? Um, but then this is also when do we have oh, Lexi can't see my screen either. What is
Yeah,
happening?
it's like a white Canva. We could see it in the beginning, but now it's like a white Canva like skinny bar.
What in the heck? Okay. Um, Let me try to figure this out. But Lexi is on here. Lexi, will you talk to us for just a second? She is a pacer. And so sometimes, like I'm saying, like instead of having like the big sexy goal of this number, but like the pacing like by miles and stuff kind of helping. And then also at really cool races, they have pacers, which means there's somebody like holding a flag that has the pace that they're doing it on. And I get to I get to coach some of those people as well. And Lexi is one of them. Um, can you talk for a minute about how awesome it is if you just hang with a pacer to get your goal? Are you in a place
Absolutely.
where you can talk? Okay, awesome.
I have paced with the American Flyers Race Pacers since January. We will be pacing this race. We will have people pacing in increments of 5 minutes starting at 1:30. So we'll have, 1:30, 1:35, 1:40, all the way out to 2:30. I will be pacing 2:30 this year. And we will also have, our sweepers that are, in charge of helping, make sure everybody gets across the finish line in the, cutoff time. So our goal is literally to help you guys accomplish your goal. We're trying to, we're given these customized race bands that are, set to the course and reflect, if it's like more of an uphill, downhill, or, the elevation on the mile. So, I think that my pace is, average 11:30 miles. You'll be able to see us wearing our bright orange tanks. We'll be carrying around, the pace sticks and everything. So our pacers are awesome. We're really good at, giving emotional support when it's needed, and it's a good time.
And usually she has like bunches of people around her. So that's what she means by like the emotional support, because if it didn't seem like anybody said that this was their first one, right? But there's some bonking happening and stuff like that. But so it's always there's a bunch of reasons to have a community around you while you're running, right? And so there is like a community around you helping you run when you start struggling and stuff like the mental part of it, right? Thank you, Lexi. It's awesome. So that's always an option out there if you want to like really hit it, make sure you stay with your pacer. And that kind of goes along with, well, let's do this first. So you guys who have been following the plans that I do, I base it off of the 1 through 5. Everybody's seen my screen? Yes. Um, yes, they also carry a stick. Oh, this says swoops on it. Okay. Um, uh the zones that you've been training. So there's like an idea, like this is the sexy goal I want, but like realistically, like how have you been training? Like what level have you been training that actually like what pace are you going to do for your training? And that's when looking at your training that you've done some zone 3, you've done some zone 4. And so this is just an example. If your zone 3 average pace has been the 8:45, then and your tempo pace has been 8:15, then you're probably your race pace is going to be somewhere like right in between there. You're probably for a half won't necessarily hold your top threshold pace the whole time. But tempo pace, because even when you're training, your zone range is a little bit of a range, right? Not like zone 3 is only 8:45. Um, and that basically is like the high of where your lactic thresholds start elevating too high. Some of you guys have done lactic.
So where are we gonna take it?
Michelle, you need to mute your
Yeah,
phone.
Michelle, will you mute?
Go out the front door and around.
Sorry.
Push.
There we go. Okay. Some of you guys have done lactic acid testing with me too. And so that's like at your threshold pace. You should be able to hold like right there for a half, but it should be very challenging. Like be pushing you, right? Which is the whole idea of racing. Usually, some people want to race and PR, and other people want to just have fun. But none of you guys necessarily said, "I just want to have a good time." So it looks like we're up here for it. But then also, kind of like Lexi said, is the downhill. Like this is a different course, so downhill means faster, but it also is going to be burning you out sooner. So let's. Oh, and then this is another thing that people usually say is like, how much faster can I get each training cycle? So this is for a full, okay, and this is for a half. So can you see? Why does that look? Do you see a goal setting
After you
101?
hit present, we didn't see your new screen. We just see your old.
It doesn't switch when I switch screens. That's what's
Yeah, so
happening.
now we can see goal setting.
Oh, good gracious. Now
Yeah,
that
we could see it before. I think as long as you just leave it on that normal. Yeah, just leave it like that, and then we can see it.
don't do presentation.
Yeah.
When I do this, it disappears.
It's not doing anything right now.
It doesn't disappear, it just stays on the old screen. It doesn't switch to.
Okay, well, this is stupid. Okay, whatever. Okay. So, but so look at these numbers for a half. Okay. I wish I could make it bigger because it looks so small, right? But a lot of people ask about that, like how much faster can I get? New runners can definitely drop like 10%. If this is your second one and last year you did it at like a 3:30, it's realistic that you could, I mean a 2:30. Realistically, you could get a 2:15. But if you have been running for a long time and that was like really like you're more advanced, then you're gonna only increase more by like 1 to 3%, like not nearly as much. What are you doing?
Trying to make it bigger.
I wonder. Uh, um, Okay. But then the other thing is, so then I have to just do it down here. So with all of that being said, and I dive into the pace from the start because that's what usually people say their like goals are, right? So instead, let's think A, B, C, and D, or A, B, and C goals. Okay. A is shooting for the stars. Like the weather is perfect, your shoes are amazing, your outfit is great, you're gonna have no chafing whatsoever, you nail your nutrition, like all of the things like line up. Then I want that to be your A goal, like the happiest you've ever been, all that. B is going to be more like within reach, like maybe more realistic even. But you're still like super happy. It's still a freaking challenge. And definitely like realistic. And then your C goal is going to be more like I usually try to encourage my athletes to not even have it like be pace based at all. So let's say your A goal is a 145. Your B goal is a 150. Still freaking amazing. Still want to do it. And then your C goal is going to be like run the whole time and or cross the finish line with a smile on my face or give so many kids a high five or see my family 3 times. That one you're going to have not too much control of. But that kind of goal. How many of you guys have ever set a goal not pace oriented? Let's see. Put it in there. What are you doing?
Making it. Oh, you don't have the 3 dots.
No. It's working. They can sort of see me. What have you ever had a goal that wasn't oriented to your pace? And what was it? Put it in the chat. Let's see. Let's see if anybody's got anything. Nothing? Nothing? Well, it's something to think about, right? Yes, run the whole time. Yeah, I think that one's kind of common for a lot of like just being able to run or like maybe walk the 8 stations, but run the rest of the time. First time it's just to finish. That's true. New athletes, it's like, yeah, to finish. Beat my sister. Oh my gosh, heck yes. That's actually my plan is to beat my son, but we'll see. Show up on race day healthy. Yeah, like get to the start line ready to like healthy enough to run. Yes, yes. I had a friend that didn't want to puke. Yeah, good. GI issues. I definitely had a friend who did not train well enough for St. George, and when I saw her, she was not happy as far as that stuff goes. I feel like just finishing is not pace oriented. I feel like it is, yeah, kind of. Um, Okay, anyway, so I that's my challenge to you guys before Friday is to figure out your A, B, and C goal. And in either way, I always feel like it is amazing that you did cross the finish line. You know, you're like whatever they say, 1% of the population ever even freaking runs this far. So I always feel sad when somebody crosses and they're like so mad. Like it's still amazing what you did. So have a lower goal that you can still like totally achieve. You know what I mean? Well, hopefully. I mean, there you can control some of the stuff. But then again, back to kind of like pacing and all of the goals kind of stuff does, like Lexi said, depend on like the course. So that's what when the pacer, how she said, like they'll help pace different miles because this is a downhill one. And according to me, I think like once you hit the canyon, it's like that. So mile 4 right there is like way downhill. I don't know if that necessarily follows this elevation, but any of you guys feel like that? Like who've done this
Yes.
before? Like what mile do you feel like is the most ripping your quads open kind of thing?
7.
Oh, not be sore. Oh, that's a lofty goal. Especially like on a downhill course or any course. That's amazing. Anyways, so usually when I'm setting up the like training day or race day for the athletes that I'm coaching, then it'll be like mile by mile. This is what the pace goal is and why and where it is. But then you do look into the course and be like, if it is a hill that has or a course that has a hill, like Vale Hill's probably not going to be your fastest mile of the St. George Marathon kind of stuff. So getting a race specific, but hopefully you've done that in your training and you've added in like the downhill and stuff like that. So like no part of the course is going to like crush you. Um, and okay, I think we counted the paces. Now we're going to move on to this week. race week. Everything's happening. You have all the feelings of the taper. I always call it the taper trauma or tantrum, like your taper tantrum, your 2-year-old's like freaking out, your body's freaking out, you mentally are freaking out, all this stuff, especially when it's like your first race ever. So making sure that you are staying hydrated, especially you guys who are local, like it's kind of been cooler this week, but still like hit your all your hydration. But even and up it like Wednesday from today on. Um, and the carbs, so making sure you're eating, adding extra carbs, and this is the carbs like the non-healthy carbs, the carbs that are just um the white rice instead of the brown rice, the white bread instead of the brown rice, like all of that kind of stuff you can help. And in the carb loading thing, everybody usually kind of thinks that Friday matters most, but the way our digestive system works, Thursday's dinner actually adds is most important for tomorrow night. So eat a lot of good carbs tomorrow night. GJ's going to be eating some amazing pizza, right? Let's see it. He's like,
Yep,
good.
exactly.
Yes. He's from Italy, so he has like legit awesome pizza. um
Pasta and
and
pizza. So
yeah,
I got it all.
good. Um, and then the sleeping, trying to sleep, even though which is always hard, but because you're nervous and all of this stuff, but like keeping track of your hours, trying to get an extra hour in, whatever before. And then the big thing I'm pretty avid about is nothing new on race day. We're going to talk about that in a second, but I want to go over some of these other things that like during the week. How many of you guys have been stalking the weather? I kind of talked to Corey about before we went like live on how many times, because I mean, like for real though, like this week the weather has changed a lot for Saturday. I mean, it usually does, like in our weather, but you know, and if it says like 20% chance of rain, you're like, oh yeah, it's not really gonna rain, you know. But according to Corey, who stalks some guy who does weather really good in Utah, she just told me this before we started, that it's not going to rain until 5 o'clock on Saturday. So y'all should be done by 5 o'clock on Saturday, okay? And like overall, it doesn't look like it's going to be as cold at the start because from the numbers that I've seen for Snow Canyon and Diamond Valley, because it basically starts in Diamond Valley, sort of, is like the low was not in the 30s and 40s that it has been in past years. So hopefully the start line's not quite as cold. Um, uh, Carb loading, we talked about that. The outfit, you guys have picked out what outfit you're going to wear because hopefully you've already ran in that same outfit, especially the whole sports bra, chafing, all of the body parts. So that's why we want to not experiment with new clothes on race day. Um, did it stop screen mirroring again? Are we good? Oh no, we're good, right? Yeah.
You're
Okay.
good.
And your playlist, that's the one that I personally always suck at until like the night before. I'm like, oh crap, what am I going to listen to? You know? Um, and then the expo is always freaking awesome. I love walking around all the expos that we have. And I'll talk about the expo in a second. But getting excited, figuring out, like making sure, especially if you're coming in from out of town, where it's at, what the hours are, all of that kind of stuff. And then of course you're sleeping, your nervous pee plan. They do have like, even when I was at the start line with my son last year, I'm like, okay, it's going to start in like 1 hour. Let's go get in line for the bathroom. He's like, but I don't have to pee. And I'm like, you will by the time we're at the start line, or by the time we're to the actual front of the line for the bathrooms, you know? So plan that. Or do what other people do and just run off to the bushes, you know. And if you don't know that, welcome to running. Um, and then your goal setting that we're talking about right now, making sure you're sleeping enough, and of course you have a lucky charm. Do any of you guys have a lucky charm? You have something that you always have on there. It will be cold enough for a jacket. Oh yeah, like at the start line, they have a you can do a drop bag that then they will always end up at the end. The city is really good about that. So I would definitely wear a jacket to the start line and then take it off right before the race starts. And right at the start line, there'll be a truck that you can chuck your bag in, and your bag has your number on it, and it will magically appear at the finish line. It's amazing. So yeah, I would wear a jacket, at least at the start line. And then this is one of my pet peeves to do the week of the race is to cut your freaking toenails. Okay. It's known that a lot of runners lose their toenails And I'm not saying this is the holy grail and like will never ever happen if you do this, because there are still amazing runners that probably follow these three things and maybe still have some issues. But from the people I've coached, like every single time that I've had two of them lose their toenails this year, I'll be honest. And both of them did not do one of these three things. So now as a coach, I'm like, okay, I got to get more avid about telling my runners to always make sure your shoes are bigger, like a whole thumb bigger, but hopefully that's already happened because you're not going to get new shoes today. Although I'm not going to lie, I did hear at least three people in the store today that sounded like they were buying them for to this week's race. But and then trim your freaking toenails for sure, like probably soon, today, tomorrow. And no cotton socks. Cotton socks will give you blisters. I don't know if they necessarily rip off your toes, but they'll give you blister at the front of your toe and all of that. Not fun stuff. Okay. So make sure you do those three things. And then also this week, we have the shakeout run, which is happening at the downtown store, which is super awesome on Friday morning. So hopefully you guys can all come to that. All paces are welcome. Aaron, are you on here still? Tell us how amazing it's going to be because he's going to be there and that's awesome. Aaron, is he still on here? Yes. Aaron, you going to talk to us? Okay, we'll give you a second. Just chime in if you decide to unmute or when you figure it out. And then of course the packet pickup and all.
Figured it
There
out.
we go. Aaron.
I was trying
Yeah.
hard.
Tell us about dude, I've obviously struggled more than I've ever struggled with Zoom today. So
I
it's
was
not
like, how do I do this? Yeah, it's gonna be so fun on Friday. We're gonna do a little easy shakeout run, all paces. Just the running center always provides like a really nice um, food and stuff like that in the morning, little breakfast, and then we kind of all walk or jog down Tabernacle for about 2.5 miles, and then head back and kind of do some stretches together, and just get shaken out for the run and kind of just get all the race nerves out of you.
Yeah, and it's just fun to be with everybody and get ready for it, right? What do
Very fun.
what do we need to know about the expo?
Expo is going to be noon to 8. You just have to have your check-in pass ready. It's going to be at the Dixie Convention Center, and super easy to get in there, get out of there, get your packet. Got some great vendors in there featuring the running center and a couple others. Always fun at the expo.
Yes, always fun. And he's saying easy to get in and out. Are you implying because last year it wasn't the easiest?
It depends. Sometimes, yeah, Black Desert. Yeah, last year parking,
Yeah.
a little bit of a mess with the construction, and this year lots of parking, lots of access. Dixie Center is always a nice location.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you.
Yep.
And then the race day, okay? So race day, well, like I already said, nothing new on race day. Stick to your favorites, right? Don't plan on race day eating anything new. The city, I will talk about that in a second. They will have e-gels on the course. Don't grab one if you haven't grabbed one before. Probably not a good idea. Eat your same normal breakfast that you've been doing. Try to stay in your same normal routine, except for try to go to bed a little bit earlier, because you may or may not be waking up earlier than you normally have to do, depending on your thing. But trust your plan. Trust your plan. Stick with what you got. Like you're gonna be amazing. So this is like the race starts at 9, right? Which so for eating your breakfast, you should be eating like kind of legit meal, like 2 to 3 hours before. I hate that this is so small, but 2 to 3 hours before. So that means like 6 to 7 in between. Oh my gosh, did you guys just hear my son? You can't say those two numbers around here, right? Anyways, in between that time, um, then you should be eating some like 2 to 3 grams of carbs per kilogram of body weight. So I have on here because you can't read it, but if you weighed 155-ish pounds, then that would equal 140 to 210 grams of carbs. So it's kind of a lot. And the bus loading time is in between 6:30 and 7:30. So that means you should probably be eating a lot of that on the bus. So you're bringing it with you, right? And then here's an example of like bagel with some honey on it and a banana and oatmeal. So like you could eat the oatmeal before you leave your house, depending on how far away you live from Snow Canyon High, which is where you're catching the bus and finishing. Um, and then on the drive up there on the bus, easy to eat a banana and your bagel and stuff like that, because then you're hanging out at the start line for a little bit before the race actually starts, before 9 o'clock, right? Um, unless I do want to share this story. Aaron might appreciate this story, or maybe not, but one year my bus driver got lost. It was so interesting because, there's a lot of us locals on the bus. And when he turned out of the high school the wrong direction, I was like, what is going on? And he didn't know. And then he went, anyways, he went the long cut. And then eventually we started being like, no, don't go that way. So we ended up back at the high school. Like we just did this huge loop, like through not the opposite direction of Snow Canyon. And we're literally at the high school again. And then we just started yelling every time there was a turn, right, left, like telling them how to get there. It was so funny. And then we pull up to the start line, and it was like actually like it was awesome because it was like right on time, get in line to go to the bathroom, and then we were going. Like there was no freezing time versus like last year. I think I put a picture in here. Last year, maybe I didn't. Oh, I didn't. Last year that when I got on the bus, it was actually one of my friends was the bus driver. So I was like, right on. Like, so that was fun. But then I was up there a lot longer because we didn't take the long cut. Anyways, that's why we it's always an adventure. But and then while you're fueling, hopefully you guys have been practicing this before now. You're fueling during your long runs or what you're going to do during your race, preferably 30 to 60 grams of carbs an hour, which that's a big range. So that depends on what you've been training with. The e-gels, I have been encouraging all of my athletes to use e-gels. Once I knew that the city had brought those on for all of the city races, or most of them, I don't know about all, but because they are awesome because they have a decent amount of carbs and they have sodium in them, which some of the gels do not have sodium. And that's one of the other things that I do is I do sodium tests. And so with the athletes that I've been able to test with them, there are a lot of athletes that were not getting enough sodium. And some get too much. So that's a thing too. But so I like that the e-gel has both of them, but make sure you're like, if you haven't experimented with it before, don't grab it on race day, right? Sodium testing is the best. Yes, yes. Helps you dial in everything. So that's the morning of, right? And then during the race, this is what I want to know what you guys say. Do you have a mantra that you tell yourself over and over again? Because I think it's sometimes helpful. There's a lot of different ways to like try to get through the race. Some people say like every mile I think about something or someone or something like that. And then mantras, I know that when I started a million years ago, one of my mentors was like, don't push the brakes, just let it like automatic. And I grew up driving a stick shift, okay, because I'm that old. But so it was like cruise. Like cruise means like neutral, just let it flow, just let it like no brakes when you're going downhill. And so I kind of always like that one, but that one does backfire on some people because you don't want to be like superly overstriding and stuff like that. Give it to God and let go. That's awesome. So count to 100 over and over again? Shut up. Oh my gosh.
I do.
Do 10. I do like 10 pretty good, but not 100. Wow. Look for the bananas at the finish line. That works all the time. Good, good. Those are the mantras you're telling yourself when you're running?
I'm just looking at the end, blasting my mom out of it.
Oh, my son's just looking to blast me out of the water at the very end. So relax and roll, strong quads, breathe in and out. I remember Amber Green, she won the St. George Marathon a few times. That she talked about like breathing in fresh air and breathing out the pain, or I don't like using that word, but something else that doesn't make you feel as bad. Aaron, what do you do? We all know he's fast. He's got to do something. What do you do? Tell us your secret. What do you say mentally? This race, I said.
I like to turn the race into multiple segments. I like to just run the first, kind of like multiple 5Ks. I'm like, oh, I'm doing a couple 5Ks today, so I'll just run the first one, and then I'll start thinking about the next one instead of thinking about the whole race.
Yeah.
At one time, I just kind of run sections of it, and then before you know it, you're like, wow, I'm almost there actually.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Instead of thinking the whole thing at one time, just like in bits and pieces. Yes. I mean, I that's when so I also have a kids running group, and when I'm trying to get little kid to run kind of far, that's all it is. It's like get to that tree. Okay, we made it to the tree. Now make it to the next tree kind of stuff. That's yeah.
And
I like
your body goes through like lots of phases too. Like you feel like you're gonna be tired, then you'll be fresh again in the next couple miles. So it's always good just to kind of like reset your mind, just like you said, get to that tree and then reset your mind. Oh, let's get to the next tree. It really does work pretty good.
yeah. And even with injuries, I work a lot with injury people. It like if your knee hurts, it's gonna like it hurts for a minute, but then like you kept going and like 5 minutes later or something, you're like, oh yeah, my knee doesn't even hurt anymore. Or like my body part, like whatever. Like, yeah, it's kind of crazy and amazing what we can put our bodies through. Um, thank you. Let's see. That's a smart idea. Thanks for sharing. Awesome. Um, and then also race day must is so pack your stuff at pack and pick up. You will get a bag that you can use as your drop bag, but you can also put like your breakfast in it that you're going to eat on the bus on the way up there, right? Your caffeine, if you've been training with it, you have your list downloaded. I put sunscreen and sunglasses, and then I put just kidding because I don't know if the sun's even going to be out, but you know what I mean? Or hat, jacket, like somebody asked. Uh, this race, I will check out the flag. Oh yeah, I forgot to say that. Yeah, that's it's definitely like so. The flag is at the halfway at the start of the 10K. The flag, which is freaking awesome. They put it up to yesterday. And it's always freaking beautiful. So that and you get to see it for like, is it a mile or more? I feel like maybe it's even a little bit more. And yeah, that's very, very good. That is awesome. Um, I pick up a person to pass and then focus on passing them until I choose the next one. Always fun to sing a new song to listen to. Yeah, that's good. Taking counting your kills, right? Um, anyways, okay. So and then throwing your like the clothes that you're gonna wear at the start line that you can have at the finish line. If you don't chuck it at the start line into the truck that makes it magically appear at the finish line, then you will not get it back. Just warning you that. But I still like my hands get freezing. I use the crappy throwaway gloves, and then at like the first aid station, I just chuck them in there with everything else that goes in those garbage cans. So you can't, you can drop it along the way, but don't drop it along the way wherever because we still love our city. Okay. But the aid stations are okay. Um, and then of course all the things that you forget about have nightmares of is like forgetting your shoes, your socks, your bib, the pins, and all of that kind of stuff, right? And then charging your watch because that was one of my runners today was saying that on his run today, his watch kept telling he was dead. And he's like, what? I can't do this without it. You know what I mean? So spend some time charging your watch before Friday and Saturday. So it's ready for Saturday, right? And then remember, like at the finish line, that you earned this, like, you know, whatever, like still be happy. Make sure you walk around after because part of it is like um, I'm also big on helping you be able to run later in life. So that means like after I don't want you to die and not recover from this race. So taking a moment to reflect on every like your whole experience of getting to race day and then getting to the finish line, right? And then of course like tag me in your stuff. I want to see this. And I'm pointing out, I put this picture in here so you can see how it finishes for me. We ran this, I don't know how many of you guys try to run with your kids, but I've been very passionate about trying to get my kids to like running. And my other son, his first half, he did it so freaking fast. I did not run with him at all. And then when my other son did it, then I'm like, okay, we're going to do a half a little bit younger so that we can do this together. So he was 10 last year and we ran the whole thing together. And then at the end, like when in our race, you know how you get to the track, he just took off like a freaking A. And I didn't know that was the game plan. And everybody else gets to run across the finish line with their like holding hands, so happy for them and their little kid. And I hear this is me dying, and this is him just right in front of me kicking my trash. Huh.
Yeah.
Anyways, so enjoy the finish line, all the memories that come with it, that you have remember that this is what you've been training for. You're ready for this race. I think a lot of the like taper traumas that are happening is just like the self-doubt in it. Just like trust that you've trained enough. Like you got this. All of those kind of things are much better thing to think about. But then also I am big on like the recovery thing. So there is like a timeline of when to start running again, not just give up on life after, but slowly build back. Because if you do tax it is a race is probably going to be very taxing on all of your body physiologically. And so I'm giving it some break and recovery after, but then slowly progressing back in. But if you are somebody who takes like a legit off season, um, and then spending time like figuring out any injuries that have happened, like get a different kind of shoes, get your blood work done. That's been a lot one for a few of my athletes recently is just like they haven't got blood work done for a long time and they found out some stuff that they can change and help them like be healthier for the next training cycle. Um, if you need more help with stuff with running and you don't know that much about me, I do running assessments. That's like where most people find me first, is that they come to that because they have an injury or because they want to increase their or improve their running form in some way, which will then help their performance and stuff like that. We kind of talked about I do sweat testing that helps dial in how much sodium and potassium and water that you need in an hour run. And then for your races, I do lactic acid tested. That's more for the like elite athletes. Really dials in their zones. Your watch right now calculates it off of a calculation. The lactic test is your blood, like literally your blood's not lying about where you're at. So it really dials in your zone training. And then of course I do like the group coaching, which most of you guys are probably involved of. And then I do one-on-one coaching if you want more Pacific Health, more like this is my individual goal instead of like you guys are all here because you're a group training for Snow Canyon. But if you also are training for whatever, then that's like more one-on-one coaching. And I do have my kids. So that's first through eighth grade velocity kids that we have Christmas camp coming up pretty soon. Um, highly recommend one-on-one. Thanks, Gigi. Um, okay, I think, did I miss any chats? And this will be emailed out to you guys if you are interested in doing a running assessment with me, you guys will get a discount code to get that scheduled. And then, but what questions do you guys have? Because we do have, so like we have a pacer on here and then we have Aaron on here, who's the race director for the whole thing. And then me being the run coach and you're guiding you. So spit out any questions you have right now, because this is a good brain pulling situation, and lots of years of running and lots of years of running Snow Canyon are on this call. So if you guys have any questions, you can just literally unmute and ask them. Let's see what you got.
I have
Anyone?
a question for the pacer.
Okay.
So, how do you usually plan the race? I mean, it's like, is there any particular like, I don't know, pace time that you go through, where it's just like how you're feeling? How does it usually work?
Lexi, are you still on here? Let's see if she's still on here. I think she's still on here. Lexi, did you hear that? Maybe not. We'll give her a second. Let's see what else. What would you recommend running the next couple of days? Rest, short runs. How good of dinner options do you have for Friday night? Okay, my recommendations would totally vary on what level of runner you are. If you are more newer, you're aiming for like a one or like a 2 hour half kind of thing, then not running tomorrow is totally fine. And coming and doing the local shakeout with us on Friday is awesome. That's what I would say. To like not run tomorrow and sorry, it keeps getting dark. Um, and running a shakeout run. If you are more elite and you're going to be busting out a Aaron type of pace, then yeah, you'll put in some miles tomorrow. You should have had some more intent, like threshold, even couple miles this week if you're going for speed. But I wouldn't do too many of those like Thursday, Friday before for sure. Um, and what would good dinner options be for Friday night? Okay, Friday night is not as important as Thursday night. So remember that, okay? And that's what I like pizza's freaking awesome. Like you want the stuff that is the simple carbs. And the one slide that showed you like how much you want. It's just literally if you just do an extra a handful might not be enough, whatever. An extra little bit of what you normally have for your carbs on your plate, then that will be good. So instead of just having, whatever, let's say a half cup of rice, you have a whole cup of rice would be the best way to do that. Let's see. Lexi said our tradition is to go to Panda Express the night before the half marathon. Rice, noodles, plenty of carbs. There you go. That's funny because I host a fundraiser at Panda Express on Friday night. Well, there you go. Anybody go there, tell you're there for whatever the fundraiser is. That's awesome. Lexi, did you hear Gigi's question about pacers?
I did not. Sorry, what was it?
Gigi, you got it?
Yeah. So I was wondering how you kind of plan the race, how the Pacers plan the race, like on pace time. They start slow. How do they get like to the filling, or do they have like a strict like a mile pace or something like that?
So the pace bands that were given at the beginning of the race, the people that run our pacing team, they have some kind of software that they use to generate the pace bands. And like if there are portions that are uphill, downhill, flat, whatever, they use that to like factor in the time for the pacing band. Each pacer's different. I try to stick to the pacing band as close as I can. It's a good indicator on if I should expect maybe a more hilly mile, or a downhill mile. But some of the other pacers will just, they're very consistent and they'll run their pace, say like for a 2:30, they'll run their miles 11:30 regardless of if there is any downhill, uphill. The nice thing about the pacing bands is that if there is like a downhill mile followed by an uphill mile, then, it'll say like plan to run 10 seconds faster to make up for the fact that the uphill mile might take a little bit longer. I hope that makes sense.
It does. Thank you. Yeah, that makes sense.
Awesome. Awesome. Somebody else asked, what are some good recovery steps to take right after the race and the next day? I am pretty sure that the St. George Running Center will have a recovery booth, not really like a booth, whatever, at like on the football fields, which will have like foam rollers, massage people, the recovery boots and stuff like that. If you wanted to actually do it like before you left the stadium. I usually chill zone, that's what it's called. Okay, awesome. So that's an option as far as like really right after. Definitely getting in some protein right after is going to help your recovery as well. Um, and the next day, if you are super sore, I always say take the stairs backwards. That's my biggest tip, because the stairs will really be kicking your butt going for or your quads and your butt going forward. So always take the stairs and go backwards. And I usually send out, which I will make a note because I'm not sure I have it scheduled to. I have a 10-minute post-run mobility follow along video that I always make my athletes do. But I could send it to you guys who are here today to like follow along and do that. And some of them do it like the day of and then like every day for the next week kind of thing because it just stretches like all of the body parts that are pretty sore. Um, Hot tub and cold plunge and cold tubs. Yes, if those feel good to you. In my research, the cold is not as necessarily beneficial for women as it is for men. But post race, yes, just don't overdo either of them. Okay. I love the hot tub with Epsom. Epsom salt is, yes, I'm a fan of Epsom salt to help with soreness for sure. That sounds good. I would love the mobility video. Yes. Okay. I will make sure that I like send that to you guys. Um, because I am big on movement stuff, but also giving your body time to recover, which it recovers. Like you can do all, I should make a post on this. All the ways that you can recover, which are like hot tub, mobility, the boots, the like all of the devices, the all of that stuff, or the ones that matter the most, like sleep and eat, are like the ones that like really help you like recover the most, right? So making sure you stay with those. These other ones are awesome. And if you have access to a lot of it, then yeah. But ultimately, like giving your body the actual rest, like it does recover a lot more in the sleep mode. So giving it that, and then of course, refueling all that you just depleted in your body in that last couple hours or whatever it is that takes you that. Good. Anybody else got questions or comments on here? Okay, make sure you, I think, did I just like skip over that slide? But make sure you take a flat me picture. Do you guys do that? Lay your stuff out when you get it all ready on Friday night. So, well, A, you have to because you can't do that in the morning, let's be honest. And then tag me in your post. I will be post. Hopefully you guys are following me on social media. I will be posting like a screenshot that you can just put yours on front of for Snow Canyon on Friday. And then I would love to hear how well you do and how it goes. And we will just all keep praying that the weather stays the way Corey says it's going to, right? Okay, awesome. If there's no more questions, thank you guys for showing up, dedicating yourself to making your race even better. You got this.
Thank you, Dana.
You bet, Gigi. Thanks, Lexi and Aaron, for helping.